What's up, Daners? Welcome to midweek Ask Dan segment. So I hope you guys are warm. It's actually pretty cold outside, but thankfully the rain has stopped. Today we're going to be talking about the benefits between low volume training and high volume training. So by volume, I'm talking about repetitions. Now, before most people come in here and comment and be like, oh, that's wrong, or that's right, or I do both, or it works for me. This is my opinion and when I would use low repetitions and when I would use high repetitions in my training regime. So first of all, what I mean by low repetitions is ranging anywhere between 4 to 6 reps or sometimes stretching it between 6 to 8. I use this style of training when I'm trying to build strength or actually just try and build muscle. I find it works best for me. Again, there's going to be comments and trolls out there who are like, damn, I can do both methods. But I find this repetition range works best when I'm, again, trying to build muscle and just trying to get my strength up. So one common term you'll hear is 1RM. So what that stands for is 1 repetition max. So what that means is the maximum amount of weight you could push or pull or any sort of exercise that you could do where your 1 rep max is a certain weight and you try and improve on that every week or every month, whatever your rotation is. So usually I try and increment the weight that I can push every week to fortnight. What that does for my body, it puts it in shock and it makes me feel great. Sometimes it's a case of, oh, I just pushed about 50 or 60 kilos and next week I'll push about 52 or 55 or 60. And it gives you that incremental growth or strength. And it just amplifies your strength for that week, month or fortnight or however you rotate your increments. So obviously if that's the low end of the repetition training, then the high end of repetition training is I use the high end for burning fat because I'm actually pushing more weight, or I'm pushing less weight, but a lot more times, which is requiring a lot more energy. Now, in some cases that's not as accurate because people can argue that you're pushing heavy 4 to 6 times, you're using a lot more strength, a lot more, you're using a lot more muscles, and a lot more muscle is engaged for a short amount of time, but a burst of energy, as opposed to running a neutral speed 10 to 12 repetition high volume training. But again, like I said, in my opinion and what works for me and my clients is that high volume training is usually what I prescribe anyone that's going through a weight loss transformation, but they also want to build a little bit of muscle. They're not really too worried about their strength, but you know what? It's a bonus. If they get it, they get it. So that's the high volume side of things. What I tend to do is for the first 4 weeks of when I'm actually starting out, I'm going to use what people call on the internet beginner gains. So I'm going to use really low volume. I'm going to mix my exercises so that the first 2 or 3 exercises, while I'm full of energy and I'm not really fatigued or I'm not puffed out and sweaty, my heart rate isn't elevated, I'm going to use the first 2 exercises with really low volume, high weight. So what that is, it's gonna boost my strength up, and it's also gonna motivate me because all of a sudden now I'm pushing a lot of weight, and then I'll taper it down towards the end of the session. So for example, I might do like a massive bench press workout where I'll do 5 big sets. I'll start up with a warm-up set, and then I'll do my second warm-up set. So I'll range anywhere between 6 to 8 reps on warm-up, 6 to 8 reps again on the second warm-up, and then I'll go into my power sets. And what I'll do from there is I'll hit 6 at a maximum, then I'll hit 5 at a maximum, then I'll hit 4. And what that does for me personally, it motivates me. It's like, wow, I just pushed about whatever it is when I'm a beginner, 40 or 50 kilos. That's the first time I've pushed it, and it's actually motivational. It also sets a baseline and a standard for you to improve on the next time that you go to the gym. So realistically, that's the first part of my workout. Then I might go into some incline dumbbell press, or I might go into some sort of a fly machine and do the similar sort of similar low repetition set and exercise for that particular exercise. And then I'll just taper it down into like a hypertrophy. I really struggle saying that word. Probably between 10 to 12 reps at the end of my session, because I'm actually just want to get my heart rate up and elevated and just start burning that fat whilst trying to maintain strength and building muscle at the same time. It's actually quite important to understand when your body plateaus, how to change your workouts around. Now, some people have multiple ways of changing their workouts. So you might go from like a superset, a giant set, but you might still be doing low repetitions. So a low repetition example of a giant set would be, okay, so if you're going to do 4 to 6 of your max on a bench press, then you're going to go down to dumbbell incline, and then you're going to go down to a tricep push down. So so you're doing 4 to 6, but you're actually doing 3 exercises, and you're making it giant or ginormous, and you're basically wrecked at the end of that set. So your heart's flying, and it looks like your heart's going through a Melbourne Cup race, but that's a sample of a low repetition giant set. But what happens when your body gets used to it? So eventually that week, it might be a great workout. You'll be sore for 2 or 3 days. But then the second time you do it, your body's going to be like, oh, okay. So most people naturally increase the weight. But eventually your body's going to get used to that movement. And at that point in time, I would incorporate moving from 4 to 6, trying a different technique, possibly trying a time under tension technique, but still sticking within that 4 to 6 range. Because if that's where your body's shining and you're a beginner and you're getting all these beginner gains or results, as we call it, I would stick within that range. But somebody more advanced might require 10 to 12 repetitions with time under tension techniques to stimulate that muscle just as hard as somebody who's just started with beginner gains. So there's no real right or wrong answer. It all depends on exactly what you're trying to achieve, how long you've currently worked out for, whether it be at home, whether it be a marathon runner, a swimmer, whatever it may be, how long the actual length that you've been, I'll call it, trying to get fit or physically active. So if you've tried to lose weight before and you were very consistent for a year, but then you took 6 months off and then you were consistent for another 6 months and all that still adds up, because technically muscle memory. So you can go back to your 4 to 6 low repetition workout, but eventually you're going to have to chop and change it to suit and actually tailor to your goals. And so realistically, again, there's no right or wrong answer. People can come in here and comment, oh, but Dan, I'll do 10 to 12 reps. You tell me to do 15 to 20 reps. It's like I base what I'm doing on two major factors. One factor, what is it I'm trying to achieve? Whether it be weight loss, muscle building, and what does my body naturally react with the best? So if I'm doing 4 to 6 repetitions and I haven't really eaten much food and my nutrition's all over the place, and I'm putting in a half-assed effort, 4 to 6 is not going to be is not going to be effective for me, because I need to be on point, focused. My nutrition needs to be on point, and I just need to push the shit out of that weight. So that's what I recommend. Looking exactly at what you want to achieve, and technically looking what's best for your body and what type of workout gives you the best results until you plateau. So again, thanks again, guys. This one's a little bit longer. I know it's I'm hoping this content is really getting through to you guys. Now, I had someone at the gym approach me and they said, oh, Dan, heard you had an injury. How did you get away from it? Your content's actually pretty useful for me. So if there's anything else that you guys want me to talk about, or if there's anything that you if you guys have any questions, feel free. I'm open to any questions. I mean, that's why I built this forum, and there's a community of people out there that also want to know the same thing. So you might as well ask it here and I'll answer it, and maybe 10 or 11 people are thinking the same thing. So it works out to drop a comment. I mean, if you like the content, like it. If not, we're also putting up some snippets on YouTube as well. So if you want to subscribe to my channel and check us out there, again, the new website's up as well. Head to the website, download some free resources. There's some diet guides on there. There's some pretty hectic wallpapers, something that'll brighten up your screen every morning. You get to see 35-day Dan there. So it's actually, I find it's a good forum for us to communicate this way. I mean, if you guys think differently. I also want to give a massive shout out to my social media manager, just for the sheer fact of making my social media look epic for the past couple of weeks. She's doing a fantastic job. And I guess I'll catch you guys on Saturday. I mean, stay warm. It's winter. Make sure you stick to the plan. It's where I'm actually 2 weeks into the 35-day Dan. I'm shredding weight so I can look awesome for my trip coming up. But until then, guys, I'll catch you on Saturday for Stressless Saturday. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you later.